Well, earlier today, we chatted with a driver that I met my very first year as the rookie announcer on the Outlaw circuit, and I've got another one for you right here that you guys probably know very well also. Bob Podolak is 68 years old. He currently lives in Port Byron. He started racing in 1979, had a street stock back at Skyline way back then. In the meantime, he eventually moved up to modified, did sprints up till 2004, did modifieds up into the mid-90s, and I've seen him at the racetrack recently. I saw him last year at Atlanta Legends Raceway. He hung out with me in the infield. We had some fun sharing some stories. He estimates somewhere around 50 modified wins, 9 ESS wins, as well as a 410 win down in Pennsylvania. He won championships at Wheat Sports Speedway in the 320 days back in 1983 in an old Will Cagle car. And then in 1986, he won the championship at Fulton in a 355. So let's check in with 68-year-old Bob Podolak. How you doing, man?
Very well.
Glad to hear that. It was fun seeing you last year. We shared some stories, and he is a Facebook veteran now of about 8 or 9 days. So how did you happen to find Facebook? I'm just curious, Bob.
Through my daughter.
So she set everything up, and you just took it from there?
She did.
Gotcha. So that's how you're probably watching this right now. So how have we been doing? I understand you're still driving a truck?
Yep, still active, still driving trailers. Yes, I am.
And I know for a little while there I used to see you in the pits. Did you help some teams out after you kind of unofficially retired from racing?
I helped 2 teams out. One was Chris Fleming back when he had an IMCA car.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got into the late models, and I kept sponsoring him into that. He has since sold out last year because he has 2 kids now.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have jumped in with Mike Stelter. I am helping him somewhat on a sprint car.
Okay. So what got you into this? Let me see. We're going back to 1979, so you would have been, what, about 22, 23, somewhere around there maybe?
Yeah, probably right about that. And, yep.
What did it? Was your dad, 'cause I know your dad was big time into this, and your brother as well. Your brother, did he start first, or did you start first?
No, he started first with my dad, and then me and my buddy got the street stock car, and then when my brother got out of the modified, I took it over.
And we're going to concentrate primarily in this interview on those first 10 years. Roughly, that leaves us places to go with Bob a little bit later. Do you have any memories of that first season back in 1979 at Skyline?
Oh, yeah. Oh, heck, I think I won 1 heat race, and other than that, they used to get probably 12, 15 cars back in the day, and I never won a race, only 1 heat race.
What was the car?
It was like, I believe it was, I think we had an Oldsmobile.
What particular one? A Cutlass or something?
Seemed like it was an 88 Oldsmobile. I believe they made it like an 88 Oldsmobile or something, the body style. Yeah, and I think it was that.
And you guys made this car yourself?
We bought the car, beefed the motor up a little bit, threw a 4-barrel on it, and went racing.
Okay. Next year you had an old Danny Johnson late model. How did that work out?
No, this was Danny Johnson. That's when we got into the 320. That was Danny Johnson, modified, 320 modified, yeah.
Okay. And so that was Weed Sport, obviously, because the 320 was the car of the day, was it not?
It was. That was Brewerton was 320. About that time of the year, Fulton was on their own. They were moving up to the Outlaw track, and they went 355. And then we'd run Brewerton, come home, change the motor, put the 355 in, run Fulton, and then go to Wheat Sport, change the motor, go back to Wheat Sport, and then we're all set for Brewerton again. But, 2 nights 320, and 1 was 355, yeah.
So you must have got good at swapping motors real fast, huh?
It didn't take too long after we got used to that.
Well, how long was were you like half an hour, Were you that good?
No,
okay.
we weren't quite as fast as the Outlaws, but a couple hours because you're home in your garage, a couple hours, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what he's talking about, for a long time, the World of Outlaws actually had a competition at one of their races where they would change a motor. If I'm not mistaken, it was like 14, 15 minutes, right?
Well, the best I've seen, if they were telling the truth, I was at a track, and they said that one guy changed his motor in 9 minutes.
Oh, my gosh.
Now, that was the best I heard at the track. I wasn't there, but rumors.
Yeah. Of course, now, did you win in that Danny Johnson car, or was it 83 when you got a different car that you started to win?
I did not win in the Danny Johnson car. The only race I won in the Danny Johnson car, you won't even remember this. They used to have hot dog races. We'd come out on the track. They'd drop the green. We'd race 2 laps. You'd have to stop, eat a hot dog, jump back in the car, buckle in, and go and make one more lap. And I did win a hot dog race.
Nice. Yeah, I remember BlackRock did those into the early 90s. I remember the first time I saw one, it's like, you got to be kidding me. I mean, did they do those a lot?
This was Brewerton was the only track I ever done a hot dog race at, and I believe the guy's yelling at me to just stuff it in my helmet so I could win the race. So I listened to him, and I won the race.
So a lot of these might not have been a fully chewed, fully eaten hot dog, huh?
No, of course it was fully eaten.
Oh, okay. I like that, though. How'd you stumble onto a Will Cagle car?
Cagle was selling out his owner. I believe his name was Cliff Barkham, if I'm not mistaken. And he wanted out because Cagle lived up here at the time. And he wanted out, and we needed a new car. And so it was a decent price, and we bought it.
Now, there was a big block in it, right?
It had a big block. He offered us the motor, but we were going small block, so we did not buy it.
Oh, so you just got it without the motor and put your 320 in.
Exactly.
I've heard different stories because, again, remember, guys, I started in 90. I had no background in this. So anything that happens before 1990, I just hear. I have no knowledge of it. The people I talked to that ran the 320 modified class, seems like everybody had a different combination.
Motors, yeah. There was quite a few combinations you could run, and yep, we found a very good combination, and we were very competitive them years.
Yeah, because some people, they changed the cranks to lower the cubic inch, and other people did other things to raise the cubic inch. Is that fair to say?
Yes, as long as you stayed under the 320 cubic inch, you could do anything you want to them motors.
I've seen some pictures, because this was Weed Sport before the walls, right?
It was.
Mm-hmm. And I see pictures of people coming up with corn hanging off their cars.
They did. The Weed Sport was a lot flatter. When
really?
When they banked Weed Sport way up, Glenn Donnelly built the track way up. Then he put the cement walls up to keep the people from flying off the banks.
Yeah, I heard at some point they had to reimburse the corn farmer if they went through his field too much. Is that a rumor, or did that actually happen?
That actually happened, yes. People
really?
would come back out of the cornfield with corn stalks on their car, yes.
They're easy to get off. Did you ever get out there?
I never did. No.
Never did. Okay.
Never did.
Had a championship at Weed Sport. 83 must have been quite the season.
Yes, I couldn't stand here and tell you how many wins. It's been a few years now, but
sure.
Yes, we did win the championship.
When did the 355s and 358s start to come about?
Oh, I'm trying to think now. I know in 1986, obviously the outlaw track was Fulton. We used to run the 355, and we run the championship. But then, like I say, Weed Sport dropped the 320s, and we used to run the 358. Friday, they joined the outlaw track, and then Utica Rome was kind of an outlaw track, so we'd run Friday Brewerton, Saturday Fulton, and Utica Rome on Sunday with the 355. Everybody went that route then.
Did different tracks run different tires and have different rules to keep the guys home?
We did not. Back when Weed Sport dropped it, we could run. Back in the day, we could run any tires we wanted at Weed Sport. Yes, we could run all the drag rubber. That was the rule back then. In fact, my competition, Donnie Wetmore, went to Weed Sport one night with a 355 motor with the drag rubber and beat the modifieds, and that kind of soured Glenn Donnelly on the big rubber, and then he outlawed it the next year.
So that's when the tire rules and stuff like that started to come about. Gotcha. We only got about a minute left. Could you run any fuel you wanted?
Yes, we used to run the methanol just like the sprint cars run. Yes, we used to run methanol, yes.
Yeah, because I remember I did a lot of races at 5 Mile Point, and even as recently as, I'm thinking even 3-4 years ago, they were allowing people to run methanol. And, of course, I remember Tommy Jewell described it, poor man's power. Is that true?
It was, compared to gas, it was about half the price. You got a little less mileage out of it, but, yes, it made more power, exactly.
Wow, this has been a lot of fun checking in with Bob. The 10 minutes goes by very fast. Now, I did what I did here on purpose because I want to go back. Next time, we're going to pick up in the 90s. We're going to get to the heyday of the outlaw circuit, and eventually down the road with Bob, we'll talk about his time racing sprint cars as well. I appreciate you making time for me, Bob. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Doug.
And And make sure to look him up on Facebook because he is there. It is him. I quizzed him. And, of course, hit the blue E down in the corner. Turn on your subscriptions, the likes, all that stuff, and, of course, your notifications. We'll keep going on more of this as we got Outlaw Circuit flavor here today.